Today's daf is Yevamos Daf Lamed Beis Amud Aleph. This is Friday. Involving this says the Mishnah. Shnei Achin, two brothers. The Suyish Te'achayid, there were two brothers married. There were two brothers married to two sisters. Reuben and Shimon married two sisters, B'meis Echamen, and then Reuben, let's say, died. V'achakach meisi Ishtei Shel Sheni, and then Shimon's wife died. Harezu Asura Oilav Olamim. So now Reuben's wife is no longer the sister of Shimon's wife. Nevertheless, he cannot marry Reuben's wife. Why not? Since there was a time, as soon as Reuben died, she was also Shimon. That Issa never disappears. Excuse me. Says the Gemara, Pshita, isn't that obvious? Hashta. Now, we just learned previously about three brothers. We learned previously about three brothers and two brothers, but two of them were married to two sisters, and the third one, Levi, was married to an unrelated woman. And if, let's say, one of the Shimon, let's say, passed away, and Levi married Shimon's wife, and then what do you call it? And then Shimon passed away, and then Levi passed away. You cannot marry Reuben. It's also forever. Because when she married Levi, she was also to Reuben's wife's sister. So then it remains. So once you're also for 1 minute, even though now Levi married her, so L'chayda should be able to marry Reuben because his wife passed away. It doesn't help. So surely in this case of his, there was not a minute that she was permitted. Surely she should be also hashta now. There was still somebody there who can marry her, Levi. That you say loy no, because since she was usher, as soon as Reuben died, she was usher to Shimon. It doesn't matter that Levi married her and then Shimon's wife died, and then Levi died. She cannot go back to Shimon. So in this case of here, there wasn't a moment that he was allowed to. The two brothers and Shimon was married to her sister. Like Koshkin, surely. You're right. Tana ha, Tana bereisha. First, he learned this case first, which is the first case, which is the obvious one. And then, in fact, he thought the other case is mutter. He thought that because later on, Shimon's wife died and she was able to marry Levi, then maybe it's not considered as if the Issa is forever disappeared. The Shari is permitted. Then afterwards, Chazil Yisuri changed his mind. He said it's Asr and Ba'aidid the Chavivale because that's a Chiddush. He really liked that din. Aktame, he brought it forward. Umishna Lezazim Mekayim the Lacha remains with us. So Talmud, we have an interesting machlekes now where somebody commits two averos. How does it work? You get charged for both averos or not? Talmud, we learned. Let's say his wife's sister was married. Reuben and Shimon married to sisters. And Shimon had relations with Reuben's wife after Reuben passed away. So first of all, he was not allowed to because it's his wife's sister, and also it's his brother's wife. And since there was no heter of Yibum, it becomes back to his brother's wife. It's as if they had children. It's forbidden. So which Aveda does he get punished for? Third, we learned you commit two Avedas, your brother's wife and it's your wife's sister. It's forbidden. Rav Shimon says no. The only Aveda you did here was it was your brother's wife, and you're not chayiv for the fact that it's your wife's sister. Now why not? Said But Tanya, sorry, Rav Shimon said, what are you chayiv for? You're chayiv for being your brother's wife. He says, you're right, you only chayiv one Aveda. You know which Aveda it is? For being your wife's sister, not for your brother's wife, your wife's sister. What's going on here? So Gemara will explain that Rav Shimon is of the opinion that once you have one Aveda, you cannot put another Aveda on top of that. So it's really a question of which Aveda came first. Is it that your brother married her first before you married her sister? So the first Aveda was your brother's wife. And then later on, you added the sister, so it's an Aveda that was added later on. So then the Aveda is your brother's wife. But if first you married her before the other one married your brother, so the first Issa was, why could you marry her? Because your wife's sister. And then later on was added your brother's wife. Ein Issa Chalal Issa. One Issa does not come on the other, and that's what the two brises are. Like Kasha Kansha Nasachai, first Shimon married her, Ba'ach and Mason, then Reuben married his sister. So therefore the first Issa was your wife's sister. Kan, the other case was Shanasa Mace. First, Reuben married her, so it's your brother's wife, and then afterwards, Shimon married her, and therefore the Issa that's there first is brother's wife. Says the Gemara. Let me ask you a question. According to Rav Shimon, so Heicha the Nasa Mace if Reuben first married her, so the problem was your brother's wife, and then later on you married her sister, you're telling me that Issa doesn't go anywhere. There's no Issa. So in other words, in this particular case, there's no Issa of your wife's sister. So when Reuven passes away, why can't Shimon marry her? There's no Issa of his wife's sister, and therefore it's his brother's wife, the mitzvah of Yibum. Keeping the Issa right now, they're going to assume that the Issa doesn't have anywhere to go. It's gone. There's no longer any way for it to park itself. It's gone. So there should be no Issa of your wife's sister. To see Abim Yibum, why can't you marry Reuven's wife? What Avashi? Avashi says, Isa achois isha mitlet totally because it's not the pshat is that it disappears. It's there, but it's suspended. There's nowhere for it to go. To eat poka isa h's if you remove the isa of your brother's wife, no, but your brother passed away and he was childless as a mitzvah yibum, asi isa achois isha v'chayil comes right away along the isa of your wife's sister. And since you can no longer marry her, therefore the isa of your brother's wife comes back. So that's why it works. No, it's not that it disappears. It's there, but it's waiting in line. The Hichel Paka doesn't remove the Isser of your brother's wife. It says the Gemara, and what's the BC hold? He holds you get two Averas because he holds Isser Chalalisa. That's right. Does he hold Isser Chalalisa? But we have another BC seems to contradict that. But then we learned over Aveda Sheyesh Boshtein Mrs. Bezdin. If somebody committed Aveda, two crimes, and both of them, there's a capital punishment for what do you do? Nitim b'chamora. Whichever punishment is a strict one, you can't kill somebody twice. So whichever punishment is a stricter one, that's the punishment you give him. However, for example, you have a relation with your mother. For that, you get the capital punishment is sreifa, and she happens to be a married woman. For that, you get chenek. So therefore, you punish for your mother-in-law because that's sreifa. Says the Gemara. However, Rabbi Yossi comes along and says, "Nidan bezikah d'shayna," whichever happened first. If she was your mother-in-law first before she remarried, so then it's your mother-in-law. If she was married, then she became your mother-in-law, then it's marriage. So clearly from here, we see Rabbi Yossi does not believe in Isa Chalalisa. The time we learn, Kate said, whatever came first. For example, Chamaisi, mother-in-law, then Menas afterwards she got married, so she's your mother-in-law first. She's treated as your mother-in-law, that's the punishment you get. However, Aish is Ish, Menas Chamaisi, if she's a married woman, and afterwards she became your mother-in-law, she's treated like a married woman. So we see clearly Rabbi Yossi does not believe in Isa Chalalisa. So the Gemara is going to say there's exceptions. One Issa does not fall on top of another Issa, perhaps Rabbi Yossi holds that. But where the Issa is a Moisif, where the Issa adds something, there's more, for example, let's say Shimon marries this woman. So right now, and he's usher on her sister. One Issa, usher on the sister. Then this sister marries Reuven. This woman now changes. She's not only usher as a sister. Now that she married your brother, she's usher on all the other brothers as well. So she herself, the object of your Issa, changed and added more. That's called Issa Moisif. More is added to the Issa. So we're going to say, Rabbi Yossi is Moida, the Issa Moisif, the way there's an Issa Moisif, even though generally one Issa does not fall on top of another Issa, but where it adds, it does. Says the Gemara 1 second. Tainach, that makes sense. Shimon, the surviving brother, married her, so only Issa was a sister, and now the Reuven married, so obviously, now that she herself, this is Reuven's wife, is usher to all the brothers, so therefore she also changed for Shimon that she now has an additional Issa. Another Issa happened to him. That's what Rabbi Yossi says. You have two Isurim, but in the other way around, let's say Reuven married her first, so it's already Asa to Shimon as your brother's wife, and then when he marries the sister, there's no additional Issa to Reuven's wife. True, now he can no longer live with any of the few other sisters of this woman. So that's called an Issa Koil, where you add more Isurim, but the object of Issa hasn't in any way changed. She was your brother's wife, and nothing changed as far as that concerned. There's no more Issa in her than was there before, nothing at all. So my Issa now he added on by marrying. Let's say brother married her first, and then you marry the sister. You can no longer marry any of the reigning sisters. Issa Koil, that's called an Issa Koil. Regarding the object of the Issa, Reuben's wife, nothing changed. She was also to you, and nothing changed. Her Issa didn't add anything. Just that you are not allowed to marry any more of the other sisters. But regarding her, nothing changed. That's called Issa Koil. And therefore, that's not Issa Moisef. You're right. Rabbi says you're right. Rabbi Yossi will hold that it's only limited to a case where the living brother, the surviving brother, is one married first, and then the other brother married. So why does he say that it adds? So what he meant was you get both punishments. It says if you did two Avedas, not that you did two Avedas, as if not that you can get both punishments. We're going to as if you did two Avedas, and what's that relevant? But at the end of the day, you only be chayv one because ain't Isa Chalalisa by Isa Koil. And the Chenki also Rabbi Yechon, my little also base, I'll treat as if you did two Avedis, the Ein Chai Velach, you only get one punishment. My Nafkamina, what's the difference? You only get one punishment, so what if we treat like two Avedis? The covered by the Rishayim Gemuri. Where was he buried? He'll be buried amongst the terrible Rishayim, because it says that the Bezdin had two different cemeteries, one for the Skila and the Sreifa, with the stricter punishment, one for the lighter punishment. And because they did two Avedis here, we're going to put you in the cemetery with the bigger Rishayim. It says the Gemara, there's actually an argument. We just talked about this in an argument. We learned an interesting argument. 3 cases. Zor sheshimish b'Shabbos. If a Yisrael who's not allowed to do any avodah did avodah on Shabbos, he committed 2 things wrong. He worked on Shabbos, did a malacha, and plus he was a Zor. He's not allowed to do anything at all. Is Reb Chia says Chayiv Stein. Reb Chia says you chayiv to avedis, and Bakapora says en chayiv lachas. You only chayiv 1. That's number 1. First of all, Zorus, and the other one is because of Shabbos. So you want further Kafat Reb Chia came below Bakapora. I mean chayiv lachas chayiv 1. Kafat Reb Chia when he jumped in Reb Chia and he swore. Avodah I swear. Kach shemaiti merebi. I heard from Rebbe. Shtayim. There's 2. There are 2 avedis. Bakapora jumped in turn. The Nishba he swore, avoid I swear, Kachshamaiti Rebbe, I heard from Rebbe, Achas, only 1. He's and he started to debate him. Look, Shabbos lachol neser. Shabbos is forbidden to everybody. Kishahutra b'migdus, the base of Migdus said permitted. Who did it say permitted? 2 eitzel koinim hutra, only for koinim. So like koinim hutra, but lazorim. As far as Zor is concerned, Yisrael is concerned, it still remained also. So he did 2 avedis. Shabbos, and he was Yisrael. Yesh kamishum Zorus, he's a Yisrael, but Yesh kamishum Shabbos. He's called Bakapara Lodin. Now go there, start debating. No. Shabbos like Kol Nes. You're right, Shabbos for everybody. When they said in the base of Mikdash, you're allowed to do malachas, it's that in the base of Mikdash there's no Shabbos. Not that for Koinim they permitted it. In the base of Mikdash there is no Shabbos. Because Hutra b'Mikdash Hutra completely. Ein kan Elazarus. The only problem here is that he's Yisrael. So only one Aveda. Next case. Baal Mum, somebody who a kohen who's a Baal Mum is not allowed to serve in the base of Mikdash. And furthermore, Shishim Betum is also Tameh at the same time committed 2 avedis. Rebbe Chia Chayiv Stein. He did 2 avedis. However, Bakapora says Chayiv ain't Chayiv only 1. Kafetz Rabbi Chia jumped in the niche when he swore. Avoid I swear. Kach shemaiti Rebbe heard me Rebbe Stein. 2 avedis. Kafetz Bakapora when he swore. Avoid I swear. Kach shemaiti Rebbe Achas only 1. Hitzchel Reb Chia loved, and Reb Chia again started to debate very similar to before. Tumah la kol neser. We know that tumah is forbidden to everybody, but if most people are tummy, they permit it in the base of Mikdash. Because Hutra b'Mikdash, who did they permit it for? Eitzel koinim, Tamimim, only for koinim who didn't have any mum, no defects. Hutra, the kohen Tamim Hutra like Baal Mum, but as far if a kohen is a Baal Mum, it was never permitted. So a kohen Baal Mum committed to avedis. First of all, he's a Baal Mum, he shouldn't be serving. And second of all, it's tamei. And that suspension of tumah doesn't apply to a kohen bamum. Yeshka mishum balamum and yeshka mishum tumah do avedis. He's chabakapodah came along bakapodah, and he says, "No, I'll debate you. Tumah la kol neser. Tumah is not for everybody. Kishahutra b'migdash hutra. When they came along to the base of Migdash, there's no tumah. They completely removed the laws of tumah, like hutra. Ein kan elo mishum balmum. The only problem is that he's a balmum. A kohen a balmum should do. Case number 3. Azor she'acha malika. Malika is a special way that you shech the bird in the base of Mikdash. They use a thumbnail and it's from the back. So for anybody else's treif, only for the base of Mikdash. This person was Yisrael. So first of all, he's doing an avodah, and he was eating kachim, a solali kachim. And second of all, it's treif. Only 1. He jumped in and swore, I swear, too. And the Gemara later explained which one did the Rebbe say, and the Gemara was trying to explain how it's plausible to say that each one made an error or misunderstood what the Rebbe was saying. Kafet bar kapara v'nish, but Bakapora jumped in and he swore, "Avoid I swear, kachshemaiti v'Rebbe achas only one." Hitzchel Reb Chia loved, and Reb Chia began to debate. Nevela la kol neser. No one's allowed to eat treif. Kishahutra b'migdash, yet by Malika they allowed it based on Migdash. They only allowed it for kohanim. Eitzel kohanim hutra, like kohanim hutra, those are only for kohanim. Yes, Kamishum Zoras. Since this guy is a Yisrael, so for him it was never mutter. He's a Yisrael, a Zor, a stranger, plus he ate treif. The Yesh Kamishum Malika, and also Malika. He's Chil Bakapora loved, and Bakapora came along to debate. No, Nevela lakonas, nevela also for everybody. Kishahutu b'migdash, hutu, they completely remove the Easter of treif in the base of Mikdash as far as this bird is concerned. So oy and count. What do you have left with Ela Mishum Zoros? The only sin is because of Zoros. So what exactly is what exactly is the source of their machlekes? What exactly are arguing on? We will see tomorrow, Mitzvah. Okay, see everyone.